Alright, welcome back to another tutorial for New Hope Worship's ProPresenter computer. This is going to be for how to get everything set up for a Sunday service. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to open ProPresenter at the bottom of the screen in the dock. And then if you look to the left, you'll see playlists. Each playlist has a date and a time, and it will be 2 times per date, one for each service, 9:30 and 11. This is important because the pre-roll slides have a timer in the bottom left that will display a countdown for the correct time. So 9:30 rolling announcements always counts down to 9:30, and 11 o'clock announcements always count down to 11 o'clock. This is set up for each date and for each time. Next, we want to look at Spotify. Whenever we're rolling the pre-service or post-service announcements, we want to bring up Spotify and go to our pre-service music playlist and use the big green button to press play. It's also a good idea to use the volume fader in the bottom right corner of Spotify in order to bring up the volume slowly and to bring down the volume slowly whenever you are pausing or playing a song. You will want to start the rolling announcements after the band finishes rehearsal and in between services. When you get within 5 minutes of the next service starting, whether that's 9:30 or 11, the countdown at the bottom of your screen will automatically start. That means that at 9:25 and 10:55, 5 minutes before each service, this countdown will automatically start. The countdown will also cue Ableton, if we're using Ableton that Sunday, to begin playing the pre-service music from Ableton rather than from Spotify, so you'll need to pause and bring down the volume of Spotify. At that point, if it's an Ableton Sunday, Ableton should take you through all of the songs and transitions between songs, unless there's a communion moment that needs to be walked through, or until we get to connections time or the sermon time, and all of that will be manually clicked through. It's important to note that just clicking on a playlist does not actually enter the playlist. You will need to click on one of the items, such as 9:30 rolling announcements, in order to enter the playlist. Then at the end of the service, you'll see the closing slide. You'll want to click on that after Seth, or whoever our speaker is, has said the closing prayer, said amen, and they're getting ready to dismiss. Wait until they actually begin dismissing to click on that slide, and then you'll want to click on the rolling announcements at the very bottom. If you click back up at the 9:30 rolling announcements, that will have the timer on it in the bottom left, but if you use the final item at the very bottom of that playlist, rolling announcements, it will not have the countdown timer. If you're at the 9:30 service and you click on this, you can wait a few minutes, and then you'll want to enter into the 11 a.m. playlist and begin the rolling announcements from the top to count down to 11. And if you're closing the 11 a.m. service, then you can just leave it on final rolling announcements playlist. Hopefully this has been helpful, and you're now set for Sunday worship.